There are a few things that you need to consider even as you're working on your saving. We are continuing with the 52-week saving challenge, and on today's episode, we're going to have an overview of the basics of ensuring that we are in a position to save even as we continue with the challenge. We are in week 7, which is a major milestone. If you're still left behind, it's never too late to join. You can even start counting your first week now, but keep up until the end of the journey. Hello good people, hope you're doing well. Jessie is my name, and on this channel we talk about finance, personal development, travel and charity. If this is your kind of content, kindly consider subscribing and turn on the notification bell so that you're notified every time we upload a new video. On to today's video, and the first thing we're going to look at is budgeting. Budgeting is a plan of your finances, how you're going to use your savings and your financial goals. It involves tracking your income, expenses, and spending habits to ensure you're keeping up within your budget. Having a budget helps you manage your income. In what way? Number one, you will be able to decide what kind of a budget you're going to have. There are 3 budgets that you need to look at, and the highlight is basically 2. The third one is something you should avoid at all costs. Number 1, the first budget should be a surplus budget, which means you're making more than you're spending, and that is the optimum of considering yourself successful when it comes to budgeting. Number 2 is a balanced budget, which means that your income and your expenses are at par. At that point, I hope your expenses include your savings and all that, so that at least you have something left for saving. And the third one is the deficit budget. This you should avoid at all costs. This means that you're living beyond your means. It means you have more expenses than your income. The moment you find yourself in that situation, you need to come back and see where you need to cut your expenditure. So the next thing is managing your budget. The first thing is to track your expenses and income. The moment you track, you'll see where the gaps are and where you're not being able to keep up with your lifestyle. Because like we said, if you're spending more than you're earning, you're living beyond your means. The next thing is create a budget, and the rule of the budget is 50, 30 and 20. Comment down below if you're compliant. 50 for basic needs, 30 for wants, and 20 for savings. Remember, in our previous video we said you can save at the very least 10%. But you see, if you go by the 50, 30, 20 rule, it means you need to save 20%. Of course, you have to create a budget. A budget entails every fine thing in your expenses. Don't leave anything out, so that you know whether you are actually able to sustain your current lifestyle. The next thing is prioritize your spending. Ensure you look at your needs first before wants, because remember, wants you can forgo, but needs are basic and you have to make do on your daily expenditure. The next thing is set realistic goals. First of all, if you have not set your goals, take a moment, sit down and set them, because we can't be singing goals, and if you're not doing anything about it, then it means it's not even adding value to you. Your goals must be SMART, that is specific, measurable, realistic, achievable, realistic, and time bound. If you miss any of the 5, then it means you need to revisit your goals. The next thing is monitor your budget often, because things change, prices of commodities change. You can't say the same amount you used to spend maybe last year, maybe 2 years ago is the same amount. So you need to keep reviewing so that you keep adjusting accordingly. The next thing is cut off unnecessary expenses. Remember, the essence of this series is to create a saving culture, number 1, and number 2, to enable us achieve our goals. The only way you're going to achieve your goals is by saving and creating money to be able to do that. So you have to track and be able to know where you can create some extra money to help you save. Because what I've realized, most people don't save because they don't want to save, but they fail to save because they feel like there's no money to save. At this point is where you assess where you can be able to save and put that money aside for that goal that you have. It could be a dream home, it could be a dream destination, it could be a big budget item, anything that you aspire to have. The next thing is invest in your future. Of course, your future entails retirement and investment. So whatever benefits that you need to enjoy in your old age, ensure you start building them now. And the best time to start creating your retirement fund is immediately you start working, so that you have a whole long period to be able to create that fund. The next thing is we need to work on our spending habits and make adjustments where necessary. This will also release off some funds to be able to give you a saving fund. The first one is avoid shopping when stressed. This makes you feel like, I want some chocolate, I want to cheat on something, I want to get 1, 2, 3, and in the process, you end up impulse buying. The next one is avoiding impulse buying by being conscious about your expenditure. Every time you want to buy something that is not in your budget, I am not saying that you do not need. I am not saying that thing that you want to spoil yourself. I say that is not within your budget. Remember, even those luxury life, those expenses people feel like they're high, as long as they're within your budget, then that is not overspending. Then that is not impulse buying. Impulse buying is buying that thing either you cannot afford or that thing that is not in your budget and you don't have room for it. The next thing is don't shop when you're bored. Sometimes you find people say, I was just waiting for someone in town and I just decided to go window shopping, and the next thing, this is a whole bag of shopping of items that I didn't plan to buy or I actually don't need. Most of the times, window shopping is turned to shopping. Check yourself. The last time you went just to stroll in a shop and then you found something that you like, leave a comment down below. The next thing is shop with intention. Like I have said, ensure you have a shopping list. First of all, your shopping list should have basic needs, of course, and it should have things which are within your budget. And remember, we said for basic needs, you might substitute for the cheaper option if the budget is extremely tight. Yeah. The next thing is, if you shop often online, it is not advisable to leave your credit card details. One, it can shop by mistake. Second, you can maybe be just window shopping online and you click and you end up buying because your card details are already there and you buy by mistake. The next thing is embrace minimalism. A minimalist is satisfied with just the basics. So if you focus on your basics, you focus on what you really need based on your income. Remember, people have this mentality that the more money you get, the more you should buy. That's not always the case. You can find someone with a lot of money, but is a minimalist, so they spend minimal based on how they have set their life. Others, you find a big spender, those ones with deficit budget, because you want this kind of life and your money or your income is below here. So to bridge this gap, you end up falling yourself in debt. Takes us to the next point is avoid debt for consumption. If you have to borrow, it has to be something which will bring you returns. The moment you start realizing that you're borrowing unnecessarily, you're losing it. That's just it. You're losing it. and you do not want to lose it when you're building your financial freedom. Comment down below one time you woke up and realized that you're losing your financial focus, either because you're failing in tracking your expenses, or you just find yourself having the urge of buying. You know, there's some people who are like sick. You see something, you have to buy. That urge makes you make mistakes all the time. Yeah. So a quick way of managing or stopping your unnecessary spending. I don't want to say you're spending, because I mean you need to spend all the time. Number one, check on the triggers and avoid them. If walking in the streets is tempting you to shop from hawkers, avoid that street. If window shopping is tempting you to shop, avoid it. Whatever is tempting you, just avoid it. Number two, create a budget and stick to it. Like we said, go shopping with your list and don't buy something which is not in your list. Be strict enough to be able to say no to yourself and to your urges. The next thing is track your expenses. This helps you. If you failed this month, you can adjust the next month. The next thing is prioritize your needs more than wants. Remember, wants are fine things in life, if I may use the word, and basic needs are things that you need to survive. So first survive, and once you're able to survive, go to the next thing of now getting to your wants. And honestly, you will always have the opportunities to get to your wants. The next thing is you can try use cash instead of cards. You see, when you have the card, all your money is in the account, so you just need to swipe. If you have your mobile money, the money is there, so you just need to pay. But if you have cash, the cash is limited and it helps you limit your expenses. And most especially your expenditure, especially on items that are not necessities. The next thing is look for alternatives which are more affordable than what you're using at the moment, especially if you're strained on the budget. We have always said, wait before you purchase. Maybe you like something, but ask yourself, if I have been living without it, can I continue living without it? That way you'll be able to make an informed decision. The next thing is set saving goals. You see, when you have a goal, you're pushed to save, so you will be able to put aside that money for that purpose that you're saving for. The last thing is seek support from your family, friends, or experts. You can actually, if you feel like you're really struggling to work around your budget, you can engage a professional to help you guide or come back to track. Because you cannot always say that you're struggling with your budget and you're not doing anything. Get an expert to help you get out of that situation. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you're new, kindly consider subscribing. If you're returning, thank you so much for always coming back to watch our videos. See you on our next one. Bye.